Grand Grand Rising gods and goddesses, we back with another mindset mindfulness Monday. It's the gods and goddesses you love to hate and hate to love here at the motherfucking Think High crew. And we about to give it to you with another mindset mindfulness Monday. What's good, Nove? I'm gonna get everybody invited in here. But I'm gonna get it, go ahead and turn up on this intro song and we can dive right in. You can hear me okay?
Yeah. Tired.
Oh, my nigga, boy. But I got us. Here we go. Just received an update. It's the Think High crew. Yeah. Just received an update. Yeah. It's the Think High crew. What up? Yeah. It's the Think High crew. You know. It's the Think High crew. What up? It's the Think High crew, yeah. We may have had difference. We may have had difference. The suppression, the use of marijuana. The suppression. It's the Think High crew, yeah. Think High crew, yeah. Think High crew, yeah. Think High crew, yeah. Think High crew. What up? What up? What up? How was everybody's? Hate to say weekend or end of the week or weekend, and welcome back.
My weekend was great.
Yeah, what you get into this weekend, though?
Oh man, I just was in Charleston, Charleston,
Charleston.
South Carolina. That shit was fire. But
That's what's
yeah,
up.
we went up there for my wife's grandmother's birthday, so it was pretty fire.
Celebration. I see you put in the comments there. What's that? Nova Lunosis? What the hell is that?
Right?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Right. The state
What
of
you?
relaxation and wonderment experienced while gazing upon the stars is the actual thing. So I've been doing that shit my whole life. Never knew it was a real thing.
Never knew, and it was named after you on top of that
Right?
shit. That's
That's
what's
what I'm
up.
saying. Never knew, bro.
That's some crazy shit. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just sharing the show. So if y'all just getting in, just share the show. We're back with another mindfulness Monday. I didn't have a topic at hand, but I did have some mindfulness that I did want to get into today. For some reason, this duality's been kicking my monkey ass. Um, because there's been so much going on in the world. I think it's been like it's like a moral and spiritual free for all that is the only way that I could fucking explain it. I mean, if you think about what's going on, the markets was bloody red. Uh, Israel's and Iran's missiles, I guess cats is attacking each other. You got people doing wild shit everywhere. So it's just been kind of like what the hell is really going on out here for me, man?
I know,
And
right?
it's been real weird, the energy, the feeling, like just waking up every day and just going about you. I feel like there's something missing, like there's something going on that nobody's really talking about right now, and I can't quite put my fucking finger on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird that Iran or Iran, however you want to pronounce it,
Uh-huh.
um, they did all this launching of missiles and um, drones and whatever in the fuck else. You know what I mean? You can call a missile you can call it a rocket, a missile, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but missiles. And they say they got so many of them, but they only launched a few, and none of them could even make it to Israel.
Right.
Is what I heard this morning. But then, if you watch like the media that the majority of people watch, Because the media I watch is like financial type shit, and I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but I think it's a lot more close to the truth than like your 5 o'clock
Right.
bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You
anyway, just listening to that, it's like, man, it's like, so what do you like? What's really going on then? You know what I mean? I mean, is somebody just
it
over there
is.
doing a military drill, or is somebody testing
It,
drones, or is somebody really trying to bomb somebody? You know, I mean,
Thank you,
fuck out.
Lucio. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. And, I was talking to my wife about it earlier, and I was for me, I was like, man, is this really some George Orwellian type stuff? I mean, because okay, I really feel like I can't really put a finger on what up, Springer, on exactly. I really do feel like, like it's some kind of experiment with the people. Like, like we're just some kind of one big crazy ass human experiment or experience that we got going on here. I see
Hmm.
somebody requested to come and speak. I'm sorry. If you want to request, do that for me again. It's my first time running we running from Ohio today, baby.
Right.
But no, you absolutely right though, because I was um I was telling my wife, I said, do you think that any of this is real? And she's like, what do you mean? Do I think it's real? I'm like, do you think? She's like, because you know how when you say some shit like that, you got to explain it. You can't just say, oh,
Right.
do I think this shit's real? Like, in what way do I think that it's not real? And so I was explaining to her, like, okay, just like we watched 9/11, right? Well, I did. I watched 9/11 live on TV. I watched not the first plane, obviously, because nobody really seen that besides some other videos that have been proven to be something that, you know, we know weren't, but we watched as the second plane hit the building live, right? And nobody, like I seen it with my own eyes. Everybody seen it on television with their own eyes, right? Everybody in my classroom, at least, as we were in school. And to find out that the live feed was compromised later, when we get to now, it's 2024 and we got the technology, and people are like, oh, this shit is not what they said it was. Like, this is a,
Hmm.
they threw a live composite. They threw some shit in there to make it seem like a plane ran into it when live on TV, when that's not what actually happened. You know what I mean? So like, if they could do that, and then they I'm not saying people aren't, being or dying or anything like that. I'm just saying the fact that we saw that, like we saw that, and it was complete and utter false. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, that's why I'm like, I do not know what the hell is really going on with shit. You know what I mean? Like, they showed us videos of that Russian soldier begging for his life while the Ukraine drones stand over him. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, it's so much crazy George Orwellian type stuff is going on. Like, and none of it makes sense. They want you looking at so much other shit. Like, all of this shit's happening at one time, and I'm just like, because we sit kind of out of the loop. You know what I mean? Because we've always minded our motherfucking business. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, come on, think about it, bro. Everything from hip hop with Kendrick Lamar and all of this beef to like, bro, this shit's everything from entertainment to fucking real life shit. Is everything's been so heightened recently. Everything, and it's like I said, a moral. How could I say a moral? A moral and spiritual free for all for like everybody's soul or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, or everybody's attention. It's
Yeah.
fucking, it's getting fucking really weird out here, man. And I just wanted people to be mindful how important it is to try to like continue to be yourself. See, because like this type of shit drags me down rabbit holes, and then I end up finding out shit that, you know what I mean. I didn't know. But I mean, normally we do that for fuck around find out Tuesday, but I wanted to say this for mindfulness Monday, because this is the first time in history that we actually, as humans, the generation under our generation though is dumber. So,
Yeah.
well, yeah, like they. I mean, no, no, don't get me wrong.
I mean, maybe.
They did this with IQ tests, though. You know what I mean? So, and you know how we feel about IQ tests. I don't think that it can really determine one's
Hey,
intelligence.
do you got
You know
a
what I mean?
like a kind of a reverb or some shit like that on
Hold
your
on,
ear?
no, I don't. My mic up too loud. Hold on one second.
Nah, I don't. It just might just be just how it's gonna be today.
Was it
If
better now? Y'all can hear me. Is that better?
I mean, I can hear you. It's just like a really weird echo.
Hold on.
But it's all good.
Cause I got the presets on and I'm on my mic, so
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying. I think it's
yeah,
got something to do with that, but it's all
yeah.
good.
You can go to
I
my
mean, it's just
console.
um.
Let me turn anything off here real quick.
But no, I mean, I agree with you. I agree that that we could society in general could be um maybe definitely more gullible, but I mean, fuck, I mean, that's the Orwellian of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like we don't know. You might have to turn it up a little bit now. But we don't really know what the fuck is really going on because one media outlet tells you this, the next media outlet tells you that, and then the other one tells you something completely different.
yeah.
Um,
I agree.
I can't hear you,
Yeah.
bro. I don't know.
What about now? You can hear me now? Better, better. No, no, no. What
I
about
can
now?
hear you. It's just a weird sound, but it'll be all right. It
Okay,
might just
okay.
be on my end.
I'm gonna
Um,
figure it out.
but uh, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You know what I mean? Like on the way home today, it said I heard somebody on the radio, and they said I would like to see the dumbest human and the smartest ape or monkey interact with each other and see what it would be like. And I was
Yeah,
thinking on the way home, I mean, not long on it, I didn't think long, but I was thinking like that's crazy to even think about, you know?
yeah, absolutely. It
And
is.
then I was also thinking on some other mindful shit, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but just about time and how someone that has autism, what's time to them? You know what I mean? Somebody that
What about
acts
them?
like
Yeah,
they're a kid as a grown individual.
right.
What is time to them? Is time going
I
by
know
the
people
same?
who've gone to, psychiatrists and psychologists, and they've told them, "Hey, you have a younger mentality. Like you might be this age, but you live like you're this age." You know what I mean? So
Right.
I guess
Well, I'm
that's
just
like a
talking about
real
like
thing.
like somebody that's so far on the spectrum that they
Yeah,
need
that's
people to take care of them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because
No,
that's
no, I
how
get you.
my wife's cousin is. Like, he's a grown man, but he's like a little kid. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy, bro. It's like, like he's been like that for a long fucking time, ever since he was a toddler. And I mean, he's been kicked out of every school, every center. He just can't nobody deal with him. And it makes you, every time I go up there, I'm like, when he walks outside, like, and then he goes back in and all that shit, like, what's he really thinking? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and is he mindful of anything?
right.
Like, when he sees somebody every 6 months to a year, does he actually remember them, or do they just does something about them spark his memory? You know what I mean? Or is he just going to act like that just in general?
Yeah, that's
I
a
just
good
thought
point.
that was something that speaking of mindful, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
how in the fuck can one human being possibly be around the same IQ as a fucking monkey?
Mm.
And then how can one human being be so far on the spectrum of autistic that they walk around like a kid,
And
but they're a grown up?
what classifies each one as being intelligent or not?
Right, right. Because that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, I get you.
that's what I'm getting
I
at. Is
absolutely
like
get you.
the studies and all that shit. Like,
Right, right.
they don't really go into, unless you're somebody that gets chosen as a candidate to really go into the brain of someone that's autistic and find out how actually smart they might be or aren't, and how much they actually know what's around them. I know there's been studies, but just in a general
You know why
thought.
I think you getting a reverb? Because my headphones are up too loud and my mic's picking it up. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Let me turn this down a little bit. Damn, this is a good mic, y'all. I'm sorry. It's my $1,000 recording studio mic, so I'm sure that it's probably picking up way more than it needs to. But yeah, like those are things that I mean, like who's really thinking about some shit like that? I mean, but like you said though, these tests, these IQ tests, it doesn't necessarily determine intelligence, like or how smart somebody is, because like my daughter is able to, I guess you want to say, retain so much useless information that I don't, I would have never retained. You know what I mean? And but does that make her smarter than me because she was able to remember shit better? You know what I mean? Because a lot of these schools
Hmm.
and the education systems is just one big remembering. You know what I mean? And then knowing that this is the first time in history the generation below us is even dumber, and then like you have to ask, like, so what does that technically mean, like, and who are these people who set up these tests who could say some shit like that, like you
Right.
said, how do you know that this motherfucker isn't one of the smartest people on earth?
Right,
You know what I mean?
because
Like he could.
what part of the brain are they analyzing? You know what I mean? Are they analyzing the whole part, the whole thinking part, the whole memory of it, or are they analyzing just one part that you need to operate in life the right way? You know what I mean? Because what if you what if they dove into a different part of the brain or a different thought process and it ended up being that person was like a fucking idiot savant? You know what I mean? Just like a dumb, smart person.
Yeah.
Or not dumb, but
Whatever the case.
not as aware of social activity or social construct or standards like everybody else. But they might be thinking so fast in their head that they might be way in the future, bro.
Yeah. What classifies as someone being less intelligent? Is it like, and that is a great question, because if it's based on what your education, then how is that any help for anybody if the education is based off of people like who ran the education system, these elite bankers who control that, and if that
Right.
information is based off what they want and what they can control, how do you classify? You know what I
Right.
mean?
And
Like
then also, bro.
that's a false level of intelligence. If anybody thinks like, oh, I graduated from Harvard, I'm super intelligent, wouldn't that be like a false? You know what I mean? Like, because
Mhm.
all the you're saying that you were great at remembering what all of these people told you.
Right.
I mean, really, is that because we've gotten to a place in society where we see that doctors don't heal. You know what I mean? Like police don't protect. You know what I mean? We can go on and on. Governments don't govern. Nothing is
Right.
ran how it's supposed to be. But I mean, well, it is, but and it isn't. You know what? I told y'all earlier today in our chat that duality was kicking my ass, and and in such a way where it's like they interviewed OJ's, because OJ passed away. Shout out to the Juice Man. I see somebody in here was named OJ, but I don't see him in here anymore. But anyways, they were interviewing those what were they? The jury, the old jury from his case, right? And there was a lot of black people on that jury, and they were interviewing this lady, and they asked her, if
Mhm.
it
A
was
lot of black
payback.
women too.
A lot of black, yes, true.
They picked that jury real good for him.
Oh yeah, Johnny Cochran. There's another thing I wanted to mention about that, which it's kind of funny, but I'll say it after. I'll say it after I say this. Uh, but the women on the jury, they were asking her, interviewing her, asking her questions, and saying like, did y'all know that OJ killed these two people, and you guys were just letting them off because it was payback for what the police been doing to quote unquote African Americans all over, right? So, and she said, yeah. She said 90% of that jury knew that he more than likely did it, but they just wanted him to get off as payback type shit. So, and then he asked her, right? And the question is, hey, also, she said, he said, do you think that was right to do that? And she gave that emoji where you stick up your fucking hands. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and I'm like, and like every moral red flag in my head was just going off. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, but then I'm like, is it wrong to murder your murderer? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if you try, but then you, the crazy thing about all of that is if anybody's realized that almost everybody on that defense team has passed away from some kind of cancer or cardiac problem, which is real weird as well. Because all of the people who were just, around the same age of the prosecution are still well and kicking, but that's a whole nother topic. But you know what I'm saying? Like all the moral shit seems to be like washing up to the shores, I guess.
Exactly.
And
Well,
it
all
makes
right. So I
and
can't even
also like
believe I saw this shit on CNN. I didn't see it on CNN, but I saw a
right,
clip.
right,
And just for context, so there's white people and black people on the segment or whatever on the CNN, and the black woman starts talking, and I don't know exactly what she's talking about at first, but the white people, I'm saying that because you'll see why in a minute. You know what I mean? Like, we don't usually get into the whole white black thing here on this show, but this for the context of it.
no,
So
absolutely,
the white people asked the black woman, they said, well, what do you, how do you feel about it? And she's kind of like, well, asked the question, like, what do you mean? She goes, well, the whole trial, and all the racial aspects of it. They said, do you think that made a difference or came into play? And she said, I'm not going to say specifically, but she said pretty fucking close to what I'm about to say. She said, well, black people rooted for and were in OJ's corner, not because he killed two people, but because he killed two white people. And I'm just sitting here like, bitch, I snatched that goddamn wig off your fucking bald ass head. How about that? Because how are you going to sit there and say,
yeah,
black, first of all, you're black woman, but black people in general didn't get behind OJ Simpson because he killed two fucking white people. I
right.
mean, come on now. Some people might have, but shit, it
No,
could have been all kind of
a
people
lot of
that got
people got
behind him
behind
because of that.
OJ because they felt like it was another underdog case. It was another,
Right, but think about this too. OJ Simpson didn't even hang out with no black people. The
oh
only
yeah,
time he hung out with black people was on the fucking football field.
bro, you
You
listen.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
where he
you
lived at,
yeah,
bro. There wasn't no black folks living up there except for others like NFL or whatever the fuck you want to
yep,
call it, NBA or whatever.
yep.
He was friends with the police. All those police were white. That's one reason why when the whole shit went down, they let him walk the whole shit, bro.
Mhm.
Before they even canvassed the whole place, they called him. And
No, I
OJ
think it
went
was
there and walked the fucking
I
grounds.
think it was to me like because when you know like what we know when it
So
comes
it's
to like
real
the
weird to try to
police.
make it a racial thing when he
Yeah,
was
well I think it was
when Nicole Brown was white, the Goldman was white, the guy was white,
right.
Ron Goldman, and then everybody around the whole situation was white. But then you make it a black thing, though. It just don't make no sense to me, other than it's just that same old race bait bullshit.
Yes, and I agree with that, bro. I think that it was designed that way because, like, bro, the dude drove how long on the highway in the Bronco, and they didn't
Right.
even try to, you know, you know what I mean? They didn't try to. Yeah, right. There hasn't been one police chase of a murderer of any kind, okay, black, white, whatever, that I haven't seen on live television where they didn't try the pit maneuver one time on.
That's exactly. This was
It
a
was like a
show,
whole
bro.
show, bro. Right. That's why I was like, geez, like,
Look,
and it's that.
if
That's
you're
what I was talking
accused of
about today.
murder,
Like, how much of this shit is real, man?
right, if
Because
you could be a murderer, how many times are you going to be allowed to drive down the road and the police block off the whole fucking interstate for you and just let you tootle along until you decide to stop? Man, they're
and
going to
you
throw a
gonna say
spike strip out there. You're
let
going
me
to have
get in
flat
alone, huh?
tires and they're going to be busting shots at you.
Bro, they will at least pit maneuver you. That's all I'm saying.
And then, kind of the reason why I brought that up too is to throw it in that woman's face on CNN. It's like, so you say that, and I'm not saying this is false or true. I'm not the one to decide if black people get treated by differently by police officers. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother show.
Right.
But in this case, the black man was not treated like a quote unquote black
Black
man
man. He wasn't.
would be
He looked like
considered.
an NFL superstar.
Exactly. And it don't make a fuck what color you are. So that goes back to status. And so it's just a circle of horseshit at that
It
point.
seems like, they it seems like it's been real prevalent lately too. Like any kind of divide, like any kind of divide, like
Any kind.
any kind, bro. Like just name it. Like it's been so like out there. Like how I was telling my wife the same. We was having this conversation. I said, babe, I said it's like back in the day, it seemed like they would at least try harder to lie to us. You know what I mean? Like if the world powers or the governments would be whoever you feel is in control of this rat race that we're currently living through, right? You know what I mean? Whoever you feel is the man in charge or the ones running the things, like this is how the conversation would have went. It's like, hey, America, we feel like you fucked us. You know what I'm saying? And I seen you cheating on us with China or whatever. And America's like, listen, baby, nah, I was over here with the guys chilling. Here's the proof. Here, I got pictures with the guys. You see my tickets to the game. Here you go. I wasn't over there cheating on you with China. And then you're like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, the conversation is more like, hey, government, it seems like y'all doing some fuck shit. And they're like, and what you gonna do about it?
Right.
Like that's the
Exactly.
conversation now. You know what I mean? Like that's why I feel like if these people can control this whole stage and narrative, you know what I mean? Like you said, bro. What I've never seen anybody on First 48 from any live TV shows or whatever or any cops videos where there was a murder and they didn't take this dude out. You know what I mean?
Immediately.
Immediately, like they didn't let him cruise at
Think
full
about it,
speed.
bro. Like, okay, so how many times, this has nothing to do with race. How many times is somebody's ex wife and her boyfriend going to be dead
Right.
and they call the husband and let him come and do whatever he needs to do there? No, usually they're going to automatically put that husband or ex husband, sorry, as a suspect. 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen like that. And then on top of that, how many times is that quote unquote suspect going to be allowed to just move around however in the fuck he wants to?
Yeah.
That
It's
just
like,
it just kind of shows to
if I did it, like,
it just kind of shows to me that something was up. Who knows what it was, right?
and like it brings me back to like that's why I was like, how much of this is real? Like, if this is all a stage, if the world is a fucking stage for real, like, are those people really dead? You know what I mean? Like, were those? You know what I mean? Because if they listen, if they could fake a plane flying into a building and on live television to the point where everybody who's watching, obviously if you saw it with your naked eye, you didn't see a plane. You know what I mean? But and then same thing with OJ. Like, how do we know that that wasn't just a play on a play? You know what I mean? A
Right,
literal play to do two things. First and foremost, separate people and make us feel like against keep us against each other
right.
because y'all know what was going on with back then with a lot of the race shit. And what's it? Rodney King just got his ass whooped recently.
Yeah.
You mean
Well, I
he was
think
just
too.
pissed.
I believe that if OJ would have been guilty, it would have been another burn the city down type joint.
Absolutely, I think
You
it
know
would
what I
have
mean?
been too. I think it would have been too, and I think that they allow because there ain't, bro. Like you said, a jury of my peers, right? They found enough black women, angry black women,
Yeah.
bruh. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't make this shit up. That don't happen for
And how?
average
And
people.
let's be honest. How is that a jury of OJ Simpson's peers? How many of them women were
How many
millionaires?
rushing yards my dude had, or even
How
what
many of them women were millionaires?
right?
Probably none. How many of them had interracial marriages or kids or situations? Probably none. Goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers sitting there mad as shit. Um, so how are they appear? That's what I always say. Like it'd be hard to get a jury of my peers.
Facts.
And so how was so if you were going to get a jury of O.J. Simpson's peers, it should have been a bunch of fucking NFL football players up there,
Yeah.
or a bunch of like rich black men,
Yeah.
not some angry black women. God damn, that's a whole different story. Because I hate to say it, but and this is just my opinion, but my
No,
opinion tells
I can
me,
understand it though. I mean,
but right, and my opinion tells me that those women said what they said for a
think about it, but
reason.
think about. See, all right, I'm gonna paint y'all a picture, right? So y'all can help maybe put a perspective because obviously you might not understand this perspective here, and I wouldn't understand yours because I don't look like you and you don't look like me, so that's why what makes our show dope. Um, as a young black boy, right? My mom is like, you know, stay away from white girls because this type of shit can happen to you.
Yeah. It's like, no, mom, I'm not gonna go stabbing people.
I'm just saying, she's like, they'll lie on your ass, or you be caught up in a situation where now you're getting blamed for murder type shit. You know what I mean? Like, see,
Right.
I'm just painting y'all narratives to help y'all understand that in it. It was some people might not even heard that from their peers. You know what I mean? But in the black community, if you weren't rooting for OJ, then you were a disgrace, nigga. If you and at the same time, it reminds me of that whole free Pookie shit when Pookie shot the fucking block up. Like, I I think it's definitely like made to be like this. This duality that we have, like, it's just so retarded. Like sometimes it doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I mean? Like you can't have the dope shit, the firest music and the awesomest people without all of the ugly shit. You know what I mean? Like you just have to, I guess, take it as like that lady said. He asked her, he said, "Did you do the right thing?" And she just shrugged her shoulders, like basically, what the fuck's right and what the fuck's wrong. And I'm like,
Hmm.
damn, it seems so cold blooded because it is. Like it seems like you ain't even got a heart. But it's like, yeah, we convicted, we let this nigga off, knowing that we all felt like he actually did it. Like I don't know, when do your, this is a question for everybody type shit. Like when does your moral code kick in to where
To when you don't care about what people's
yeah,
gonna think. It's
or to
about
where it's like
what's
as a black
actually
person or as a white person or as any person to where you feel like the downing of another type of person is going to benefit you in any type of way. Like for
right.
black people to come up, we need white people to come down.
Hmm.
That's a horrible way of fucking thinking.
Right. And you know, O.J. Simpson died owing the Ron Goldman civil suit. I think it was like 100 and something $1 million. And I also heard that the only reason he agreed to allow that book of his story to be published is so he could pay them off or pay some of his shit off, right? But then also him get money as well. And so then okay, so think about it.
Yeah,
All right, if it was just this one thing with OJ, then it would be like, damn, bro, like, man, just looking back on it, it's like, well, damn, if this was the only thing he was accused of, then maybe he didn't have anything to do with it, or maybe it was something different, right? But this man, after that, bro, after he gets off of that, or I'm not saying gets off because I don't know if he did it or not, right? But
right.
after that's over with, years later, this motherfucker's all up in the news for stealing this, kidnapping people in Vegas with a gun, telling them to go here, there, there. It's like, damn, bro, like you really did that shit, didn't you,
That's
OJ?
what Bruce Wayne. He said, "Do y'all think?" Bruce Wayne says, "Do y'all think getting acquitted in court than getting your block knocked off in civil court is double jeopardy?"
But all right, but I'm not disagreeing that he did get his block knocked off, but did he though, or did he just have to pay his fucking attorneys like a motherfucker? Because I don't think he paid nobody what he was supposed to pay him on that civil side. The only time he did is when he agreed to allow them to publish the book in his name or whatever. so he could get the royalties, and he used some of those royalties to give it to the people that he owed the money to. But I don't know. Shit, he might have. Um, keeping up the lifestyle that he had, you got to have a lot of money to do that.
Right. Right.
And so, all right, let's be honest about it. Why ain't Johnny Cochran okay, so Johnny Cochran putting the first attorney on deck, right? But when Johnny Cochran came on deck, why ain't he do it for free?
Right.
If he was doing it for the black man, hey brother, I'm gonna help you out, brother.
Nah.
Why ain't he do this shit for free?
Yeah. See,
Oh, his
but
bitch
see,
ass ain't do it for free. He ain't looking out for the brother, man. He ain't his brother's keeper. That motherfucker was a goddamn little snake ass bitch, just like every other person when it comes to that type of situation.
yeah.
So,
Law is one of those like that was like one of the first things that was bought with money is the laws of the land type shit. You know what I mean? Like that was one of the first things to go. So when we're talking about this, you know what I mean? Like we're talking that law shit is a whole. They got a whole language, legalese. You know what I mean? There's a whole language to that shit. So we just
yeah.
gotta, recognize that that's a whole nother realm of things, and like, and that's why it's a court. You know what I mean? Games are played on a court. Like it's just a whole. How about this? Just to put it, all of it is Masonic. You know what I mean? If you and it's ritualistic type thing. You know what I mean? And when you fucking take it all the way back, it just reminds me of all the fucking spells that motherfuckers have to break. Cause look at
Mm-hmm.
look at what that fucking did. You know what I mean? Did to a whole society, did to a whole people. Like you got moms teaching little kids, hey, you know what I mean? That's why niggas don't date white girls because you see what happens, right? Or da da
Right. And
da.
then
Or you
and
you
then
get a whole.
it's like not to take anybody's side, but it's like, well, how the fuck was that a goddamn white girl's fault? What did she
Exactly,
do?
bruh. Bro,
How
when you
many times did she call the fucking police on OJ for beating the fuck out of her?
bro,
Now, I don't know if that's
when
true or
she
not.
said that, I
You know
kind
what
of
I'm
looked
saying?
at
I
her
don't
like,
know, but I've heard
bruh.
911 calls and shit. And, yeah, I've seen
I
motherfucking
told I
pictures
had to
of
tell my
bloody.
mom flat out though, like shit, if she bad, I don't even know.
Okay,
but it's like, for me though, it's like I don't know. It could have been a crime of passion if anything. If to me,
hey, I got
if
something.
he
I got something that I was reading, and it kind
okay,
of goes along with what you were just talking about. All right, so that part was said about. All
no,
right, you better watch out. This is why you don't need to date a white girl because this can happen. But on the same says that date white men have a higher IQ than white women that date black men. And it's like, who got, like, where did that shit come from, bro? You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
who really went and took them tests and did that shit? Where'd the data come from?
right,
And then how do you even get somebody to come find out who's smarter or who's got an IQ like that way? You know what I mean? Just like there's no real way to prove the fact that if a black dude is dating a white girl or white woman, that something's gonna happen and she's gonna get him in trouble. Just like it'd be crazy for us to sit here and say that every black woman that dates a white man or white guy or black girl dates but is smarter, has a higher Q than every white woman that dates a black guy.
right. There's always gonna be exceptions to the situation. Shit,
Right.
like yeah, Bruce. Everything is Masonic. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like we was watching those videos. You watched them iPod videos, or maybe you didn't. In Pursuit of the Truth, like yeah, they tell you even the whole court system was made up on some Masonic crazy bullshit. You know what I mean? That part of some kind of some religious person's structure of how to operate through life. Not saying that it ain't fucking right or wrong. You know what I mean? Because as you see, like all this shit can exist in one fucking place. Like you have people who allegedly run whole islands just to blackmail everybody that's a superstar, and then you have a whole like fucking society of people who truly have oppressed the whole world financially and shit like that. Like the shit's like a fucking movie almost. Like you can't make this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this is we're not. I guess you could say like this shit is real life. Like this dude literally existed, and it literally caused a big ripple in people's perspective of white and black and race and shit like that. Just another game that was played. You say cheaters never prosper? Shit, I don't know, man. I can't say that cheaters never prosper because it's if you cheat to do the right thing though. So like if I robbed a bank, if I'm Robin Hood, if I robbed a bank and gave to the poor people, am I wrong? See, the moral shit, the moral duality of this existence has been kicking my ass lately. You
I
know what I'm
would
saying?
I would almost say, and I guess I will say because I'm gonna say it, so I guess I gotta say it, right?
Right.
I would say that the whole reason for cheating is to prosper.
Truth. I mean,
Doesn't mean that you're going to prosper morally or ethically or whatever, but maybe just for the dollar, or maybe to get out of a murder, or maybe to whatever. You know what I mean? So I think the definition of prosper and cheat has to be put in stone or explained before you could say
right. Well, because you know
anything like that.
the thing
And then
about it
also what
is the definition of the words, right? Because depending on what you think cheating is, and depending on what you think this, so like everybody has their own definition of these words. So like they keep us divided on what the definition actually is. So like so we would fight about it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying in a sense, it's like if we're playing a game for our lives. Like this is for your soul, right? If you're playing a game for your soul, my nigga, why wouldn't you cheat to make sure you can keep control of your soul? That's a crazy moral question that I want
right.
everybody like think about
Well,
that shit. Like,
okay, so all right, think about it like this. So we just talked about how DC and et cetera was set up. All right. So when somebody designs a video game, where them fucking cheat codes come from?
good question, my nigga.
And then
We all
I
play
remember
games.
when everybody played like when we were younger, you could
Yeah.
go buy a fucking book that had all the cheat codes in it.
It's called. I still get the game.
Now, if human beings design a video game and then go to the trouble to cheat to create a whole another underbelly of that bitch with cheat codes, and then they got the cheat codes in a book to sell. I mean, that's just a perfect, to me, that's a great example of life in general,
Oh my god.
because
This is
it's
so fucking
exactly what's
stupid.
going on right now.
Where is
Like,
it
I
at?
could
Because
go
I
get me bro, I could cheat the whole fucking shit out of this bitch right now.
this nigga said I could cheat the
You
shit
know
out
what
of
I'm
this bitch.
saying? I mean, all right, y'all. Goddamn, shut up.
Calm down now. All right.
All
We
right,
need
this
to
ain't the
listen.
Ricky Lake show or no shit, motherfucker. Shit.
But he's
But no,
he
man, for real though, think about it. Like how everything is set up, our banking system, our laws, our HOA, homeowners association fees, our fucking taxes, our everything, bro, is set up to where there's a whole, if you get the cheat code book, there's a whole nother side to it, and you could operate. And then it's like, well, is it wrong? Because the person that created this motherfucker also provided the underbelly and the cheat codes to be able to use it. So,
right.
like Bruce Matthews just said, like we've been saying for a minute, or Bruce Wayne said, my bad, it's like, how do we know what's right and what's wrong?
And what's wrong, right?
Because if the person that designs it allows for this to happen and for this to happen, then how can I tell him or anybody else that uses both sides of the spectrum of something that somebody else created that is wrong or right?
And just to add on top of that, how in the sense of right and wrong, who is any of us, to place, any kind of judgment or any kind of perspective on it? Like you said, like to classify what's right and wrong, like you have to have done everything, right? You have to have done it all, right?
Right.
I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, if you,
Well, and when you think about how the juries are chosen, that's not a
yeah,
jury of your peers.
No, not at all.
Okay, because you got one side of the law or lawyers, I'm sorry, and then another
Well,
side
they
of
say it's
lawyers,
karma.
and both of
Karma
them are
sucks.
trying to pick what they want to win the case.
Right.
And so
See.
it goes back to, I think somebody put in here, better lawyers, whatever. It's like more money, more better lawyers, basically.
Hmm.
So the more money you got, the better lawyer you hire, and then they know how to get the best jury for you. But does that mean that they're part of your peers? Because OJ Simpson, I would like to know one person that was sitting on that jury that was a multimillionaire.
Right.
Because if
Or
you're not a
or a straight
multimillionaire, you're not
pedophile.
in OJ's circle, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know how OJ moves. You don't know how you don't know what goes on with OJ because OJ's living up in the Beverly Hills.
So see, and a lot of people they take this type of shit and they're like, man, like, so what's the point of living? Because it's like, for the most part, it all could be fake. Because it always brings me back, back to that. Like, it could all like the Nicole and the dude, you know what I mean? That was murdered. Like, how we know that they're not off on an island somewhere chilling and got paid? Y'all remember that news lady that got shot point blank and
Yeah.
supposedly died? You know what I mean? Like, y'all remember that? Like, y'all remember all of those videos, all of these crazy ass real life soap operas almost that like
Hmm.
we've seen over and over again all over the world. And like sometimes I think, like, is it even real? Like, you know what I mean? Because it gets to a point where it's like, come on, y'all. Like, there's a reason for it, obviously, because people made a lot of money off of that. Where
Yeah. I think it's a
you know,
reality. It's just like, do you choose to make it your reality? You know what I mean?
that's a good
Because
question.
there's a lot of people on this planet that never even fucking heard of, oh, okay, or we could say this. There's a lot of people that never heard of the OJ trial, or
Right,
there's a lot of people that don't remember it.
right,
My wife's grandmother is one of those people. She watched the trial. She knew all about it, but shit, it's been 30 years since she talked about it probably. We was talking about it over the weekend. She was like, OJ, who is that? Who is that?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then to go back to the autistic side of the brain, right?
right,
Like he don't know nothing about no damn OJ.
right.
So is that even real to him? Probably not.
Probably not. It's and what concerns me about it, and what I want people to be mindful of, is that very thing. You normally have the control. Like, what do we say after we do the numerology and shit, which I got for you from Sybil actually right here as well, and we can kick that off, and then I'll play a song to break it up, and then we'll come back with some more mindfulness. But um, if how do you move? You know what I mean? How do you move through life like that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if that's the case, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's really like that.
It, I know it's got to be tough for people, bro, because
Yeah,
I mean, shit, it's tough for me, but even in the sense of like, I don't buy into a lot of this bullshit.
right, for sure.
Honestly, I mean, I might sound like I'm trying to be some Mr. Cool guy or something right now, but I really don't. I
Nah,
really just don't
I
buy into
understand.
a lot of it.
Yeah,
I'm not, maybe if I was forced to live in this, whatever, you know what I mean? But the
yeah.
type of person I am, I wanted to get the fuck out of the matrix. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to have control over my
Well,
thoughts,
I just
my
want to
feelings,
have
my emotions, the way I
right. I
move.
That's what, and you know what? I think when we tell people, that it's a free for all, a moral and spiritual free for all for your soul and spirit and shit. Like it. That's all it seems like. It seems like a
Yeah, for
Royal
your
Rumble. You know
energy.
what a free for all is? A fucking Royal Rumble. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like,
It's
it's
your
a fucking
energy
Royal
also.
Rumble.
It's your, the
Yeah.
money it turns into a currency, a fiat
Currency,
currency.
current. Yeah,
Yep.
God, I'm with you. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hey, so before you play the song, I want to drop this in here real quick. So check this out. I
Yeah.
can't remember the whole way it was
Go ahead, do the
described or
numbers first,
explained.
but yeah, I'll do the. Go ahead, you get us, and then I'll
So
do the
check this
numbers.
out. All right.
Okay.
So on the way home from Charleston, South
Right.
Carolina,
Right.
um, listening to the radio, these different radio shows, right? And one of them was like, all right, so, and he's a comedian that was saying it. So it would sound a lot better if you heard this person say it than me, but I'm just gonna try my best. So they said this. They were talking about taxes, and they said how different tax bracket affect people, right? Okay, so it was like this. It was like they said you got 10 people, and they said men. Like we could say women. I don't give a fuck. We can say whatever. You know what I mean? So you got 10 people in general. All right. So 3 of those people make the lowest income out of the 10. So the bottom 2 don't have to pay any taxes, but they benefit from everything that taxes provide and pay for. And if people don't think that taxes provide and pay for things, take your ass outside the United States and go live somewhere else, because then you'll see what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the United States is perfect by any means,
Right.
but I am saying that taxes do provide services, etc. You know what I mean? Um, okay, so you got 2 people not paying they're not paying no taxes because they're on the bottom totem pole of the income, not bottom totem pole of society or how people are or anything like that, but just the bottom totem pole of that. Okay, so the next leg up, you got the third person in line, right? And he's paying X amount of dollars for taxes. And then you go up the ladder, right? And then you get to the top guy, number 10, and he's paying, I think they said like $59 out of $100 is how they were breaking it up out of 10 people. He's paying $59. All right. So the government is busting his ass, right? He's getting penalized for doing great financially in his life. Okay. So check it out. All 10 of those people go to a bar, and the bar tab or the bartender says, look, I'm going to charge everybody 80. Y'all, all 10 of y'all, instead of $100 tab, I'm going to charge 80. So everybody in that whole situation gets a break, right?
Right.
But then the rich motherfucker, the one at the top, he don't show up the next night. So who's paying the tab? So ain't nobody finna drink shit. You feel me?
Right.
But guess what though? At the end of the bar, it's a rich Chinese dude that says, hey, I'll loan you the money.
Yeah.
So now those people don't just owe the United States government, and they ain't putting money into what we do.
Right.
Now they owe the Chinaman down there. And what does he do? He takes that motherfucking money, that power that he's got now over this nation or these group of people in the bar that owe him, and he can make them do whatever, bro. Because these people want that drink, homie. When they sit down at the bar, they want to drink. And if they want to drink, they either got to make enough money to be able to do it, or they got to do what that motherfucker down there at the end of the bar wants them to do now. And the bartender ain't going to do shit but take the money.
Yep.
The bartender is the government,
Yep.
our government, the IRS. He ain't going to do nothing but take the money. He don't give a fuck where it comes from.
They don't care.
But now who's got the majority power swing pull over them people in the bar? Now the bartender has lost his power. The bartender can't say shit to the Chinaman down there. The bartender can't say, hey man, I need you to get the fuck up out of here. Because if he does that, everybody's got to get the fuck up out, or he's got to let everybody drink free. Ain't that some shit, bro? So I'm just saying, it's I know it's a fucked up world, but it really is. But you can look on the brighter side of it and look on the glass half full side
Yeah.
and know that, damn, bro, like I
I
might
still
not
got my
be
fucking drink.
exactly.
Right.
You could either choose not to drink,
Right.
or you could choose to maybe work a little harder, use your brain a little more, and come up with something to where you don't need nobody to loan you the fucking money to be able to drink.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I know that like I ain't explained it as good as the person did, but
No, but you know.
what I'm saying, what I'm trying to get at is everybody's got a position to play. And when one person stops playing that position and steps out, there's always going to be somebody else to step in and just make sure that that dude has got your better interest at hand than the other motherfucker that you hated.
and it's
Because
and
you're going to pay the rich motherfucker regardless, bro. You feel me?
yeah, yeah,
He's going to get his. It's just which rich motherfucker you going to pay.
yeah. And or are you gonna have, are you willing to play the game enough to be that? Because like I said, you can always be whatever you choose that you want to be, but everybody's not created equal as well. So it's like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
Jason wants to be an NBA player. That's not going to happen. They say, oh, you can be whatever you want to be. I'm not going to be, was never meant to be, not built like, shaped like, meant for any kind of NBA basketball game. You know what I mean? And that's just the truth of that. So you're right. You know what I mean? It's all about what you choose to do, but that doesn't mean I can't be as wealthy as one, and that doesn't mean I can't obtain success because
Right. I know a lot.
there's
Hey, I
people
know
in
several NBA players that's broke.
yeah, but this but success is, is based on, is all your interpretation of, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Exactly.
so like my success and your success is completely different. You know what I mean? Like everybody's success is completely different. Like just like some people back in the day, you were successful
Some
being someone's
people,
son.
some people's success is not having to owe the Chinaman down there.
Yeah, some people's success is just having a roof, some food, some good tree, and some loyal people around
Yep.
them.
Some people can walk into the bar and they can say, "Oh, that's that much? I ain't got that, bro," and they'll leave.
Yeah,
Some people will say, "Oh, it's that much, man. I can I start a tab and pay it later?" And the bartender looks down at the Chinaman. He's like, "Hey, man, this dude right here, you got him?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll cover him." And then when it's time to leave the bar, the guy says, "Hey, where you going?" "Oh, I'm finna go home, man." "No, no. I paid your bar tab. You gonna come with me? I got some work for you to do or some shit." You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, bro. And that leads us to, I guess that's, we didn't have a big topic for today, or a topic really on hand. We just was kind of shooting the shit, just being meaningful conversation about what we feel people should be mindful of. So just pay attention to what's going on out there. There's so much division that's being created. They want you to see things how they want you to see things instead of seeing things how you should be seeing things, if that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, and you don't have to see things how they tell you to see things. You know what I mean? You can look at things from many different fucking perspectives and understand it all, because technically there's no right and wrong. I mean, like, we don't know what brings, one thing that we know is for certain. The only thing we know is that this body eventually dies. That's one thing we can guarantee. Everything else in between is, we don't have no idea how real or fake it is. And if we have gotten to the point to where even like things we see, like the news is completely false, and there's a whole nother story behind it, then who's to say that this death thing that they talk about is what it is? So it's just, you just have to fucking be open. I think it's one big beautiful mess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like
It's
a
like a
cosmic mistake
it's
going
a
on.
what do you call it? You said beautiful mess or
Yeah,
controlled chaos or some shit.
yeah, perfect mistake. You know what I mean? Like, the
Yep.
duality has been kicking my ass, bro. Because like, even let's just bring it light. Let's make it a little bit lighter, real quick. In about 2 minutes, and I'll just do I'll play the song and shit. But just to lighten it up. Even when it comes to music and shit like that, like, I want cats to start rapping again, right? But then when they start rapping again, I realize that these people, in order for them to rap again, like how I wish people would rap again, like with all these diss tracks and
Society's got to
nonsense.
change, bro.
Yeah, because these people ain't even real. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, so when people, like, you hear so and so say this and so and so say that, and then you actually see what type of person they really are, and it's like, all right, well, they're really lying in their bars. Like, oh, Future says I pop perks and shit like that, but he ain't on pop perks. He says, he grew up in the hood and whatever. He went to a private school. All of these cats, they do that type of shit. Oh, I'm fucking all the bitches and probably not even getting no ass. Oh, I'm getting all the money and probably broke as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's what rap has been about for so
Hmm.
fucking long. And even the real ones who's like, yeah, who's spitting some real shit, even them cats aren't real.
Right.
And
Well, you know what? I heard this a long time ago from somebody, and I was real wild back then, so I ain't really in take it in like I've taken it in now. But
right,
no record label is going to spend a bunch of money and sign somebody that could end up dead the next day. Now, I know everybody can end up dead the next day, but if you take somebody out of that environment that is supposedly the environment that they're talking about in their music, right?
right,
And you take them, you find them from there. First of all, that person in that environment, if they're rapping about that and they're actually living it, they're not trying to sign no fucking deal, bro.
right.
They're really out there doing that stuff they're talking about. And no label in their right mind is going to sign somebody that probably might get shot up the next day. Bad
Absolutely.
investment.
I mean, unless they got a life insurance policy or something.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. It's a bad investment unless they,
Yeah.
do some shit like that.
And I think that sometimes some situations might happen like that where you would see that, you know what I mean? Like that might be the case in order to make some money because like I said, it's all about making the money anymore. Nobody's really doing any art. But I was, saying that to just to be like how fake it is, you know what I mean? But like at the same time, it's like, do I enjoy it? You know what I mean? Like, do you still stop and smell the roses, even if the roses aren't natural?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like I said, it's that duality, that fucking conundrum, that catch 22 that you find yourself at in life, where you're like, man, like, I think this shit's dope, but at the same time, it's like I think it's dope to have a competitive nature of hip hop, right? But then at the same time, I look at it like, oh, well, Rick Ross is dropping tracks, and we already know he used to be a CO. Like, no offense to that, I'm not knocking him for being a corrections officer, but we know that's 12, and we don't fuck with 12, and that's just that. And people be like, oh, well, that was 30 years ago. But it's like, but if he's spitting like this and this dude used to be, you know what I mean? Like he could have been moving weight through the prison. Oh, and even so, there's dirty cops and there's good cops. You know what I mean? Obviously. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean he wasn't a cop at one point in time. So that like
Right.
so it's like
And just
when you
because he was a CO, that doesn't mean that he had to be a dirty CO.
at that too.
Just because you're a police officer don't mean you have to be a dirty
Well, I mean, even
police
even
officer.
you see people even in their families that was their professions. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's
Hmm.
just like, okay, they even got families and uncles and people who were in these professions, and then
Killer
people who
Mike.
are, what was
His
that?
dad was an Atlanta cop for a long time.
Yeah. So
Retired.
it's just like, you, I'm not knocking that, but it's just hard to, you know what I mean, take his gangster shit that he's saying so serious if
Right,
your
but
dad's a
knowing when
cop.
you was growing up, your dad was whooping your motherfucking ass, and you wasn't out there doing that shit you talking about.
And just like
You
and
know
just
what
like
I'm
with J.
saying? Like,
Cole,
let's
you know
just
what I
be
mean. His
honest about
mom,
it.
people don't know J. Cole's mom is white, so it's like, um,
People don't know Bob
he's
Marley's dad's white.
exactly.
You know what I
There's
mean? Like, it's just so
yeah, there's a
weird.
lot
Like,
of so it's like when you look at it, it's
I
like
hate to
they're
say it,
playing a
bro, but there's a
character.
lot. My bad, man. I can
No,
barely
you
hear you.
good,
I
you
ain't
good.
trying to interrupt you.
No, you good, you good.
I was just saying though, it's weird to me, right? That,
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying
right,
it's
right.
weird to me that Bob Marley is like the chosen one or one of the chosen ones for black people
Yeah, truth.
when he's got a whole nother side of where he came from that is not even talked about.
Right.
Just like Drake, you got fucking Rick Ross calling Drake now a white boy. You know what I'm saying? It's just fucking so goddamn comical. It's like Rick Ross, bro,
Yeah.
you got some shit in you too, homie.
Right. Wasn't y'all niggas hanging with Diddy? Like everybody has something to
Right.
fucking answer to, bro. Like I
Oh,
think
and,
that's all I was
and
like
hey,
there's
before
huh.
before you go into it, the
Okay.
numbers and all that shit, man, I just got to
Right.
say this. So I heard that 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 girl Kesha, I heard she performed at something like Coachella or some shit recently, right? And
Right.
she's got that song "Don't Stop,"
Yeah.
and she says, "I woke up in the morning feeling like
Feeling
P
like
Diddy."
P. Diddy.
She didn't even say that part. She changed it up. That's funny to me, man.
Holy shit, guys, man. I appreciate y'all joining us. We went on for about an hour just off some mindful meaningfulness. It was just off the cuff, man. We seen y'all since Friday, so we was missing y'all. And I'm gonna give y'all the numbers here. Hey, what up, Tick? What up, everybody? Thank y'all for jumping in and stopping by with us today. This Mindset Mindfulness Monday is April the 15th, 2024. Am I too loud now? No.
No, you good.
Okay, cool. It's April 15th, 2024, and I got today's numerology from Sybil. Sybil is the AI over there at Secret Energy with Seven Bomar and the gang, so shout out to them. But April 15th, 2024, and Sybil tells us falls on the day that simplifies to the number six. The number holds a significant meaning across various esoteric and metaphysical disciplines. In the Jai Otisha numerology, the number six is ruled by Venus and it symbolizes love, harmony, and balance. It's often associated as well with an artistic expression, beauty, and the strong sense of justice. Those influenced by this number are seen to be nurturing, responsible, and community orientated people, and they possess a deep desire to bring peace and harmony to their surroundings, making them excellent mediators and caretakers. Astrologically, on April is the month of Aries, so we're transitioning into the Taurus Aries ruled by Mars, which brings energy, courage, pioneering spirit. Also, it contrasts with the Venetian qualities of the number six, however. As the sun moves closer to Taurus, there's a harmonious blend of Mars, assertiveness, and Venus, love for beauty, creating and balance, energy, conductive to both initiating new projects and fostering long-term growth. In the tarot, if you're pulling this card of the sixth card is a major arcana, and it's is the Lovers. This card emphasizes relationships and choices, reflecting on the themes of harmony and balance inherent in the number six. It also suggests that a time of important emotional decisions that could significantly impact one's personal growth and life and path. The Lovers are encouragers, and they want us to consider our values and align our actions with our true selves. So that's on the tarot. And then from the metaphysical perspective, the number six is associated with the nurturing aspect of the universe. It invites us to foster a sense of responsibility and care towards ourselves and others. It also reminds us of the interconnectedness that all things of all things and the importance of maintaining balance in our physical. That's why duality's been kicking my ass today. That's exactly why, man. Historically, though, on April 15th has been tax day. I mean, fuck it. I mean, my nigga's birthday. Shout out to my nigga Tim. Happy birthday, April 15th. But it's also been the day of significant events. Most notably, it marks the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic in 1912. This is the anniversary of the Titanic. God damn, no wonder we diving deep. No pun intended. And a tragic event that was a profound impact on maritime laws and cultural consciousness. So, and I want y'all to understand as well, that's so crazy that we talking about the law
Hey,
shit too.
wasn't
See,
the isn't the Boston Marathon today?
I believe so, as or it
Yeah.
might have been tomorrow.
Well, think about this. Really weird that the Boston bomber, the Boston Marathon, had that huge. Yeah, I kind of dug into that a little bit when I saw that the Titanic
Mm-hmm.
thing and the Boston
Yeah.
man, and then look at the shit that's going on with Iran and fucking
Right.
Israel, bro. Like this is a time of, I hate to say it, but like this is like that time where motherfuckers get at it.
Yeah,
I
bro.
mean, it's just
Bro,
like it's going down.
it has been, and and then look, they go. Sybil takes it even further back. She goes, April 15th, 1452. Right, Leonardo da Vinci. We already know who that was. He was born today, 1452.
Damn, Da Vinci. That's crazy.
So basically, April 15th, it says Sybil tells us that it encapsulates a powerful blend of energies that encourage us to seek balance and harmony in our relationships and endeavors while reminding us of the historical lessons and responsibilities and the impacts of our choices. God dang. And you know what? I'm glad we talked for a whole hour before we did that, because y'all would think I just was writing that while we was talking. I promise I didn't. I got it from Sybil. If you guys are join the Discord of Secret Energy, you can get that every day. But that was the numbers right there. And you know what? I'm gonna throw this on right here to give us a little room break, and then we be right back in a couple minutes. This is BAMS by SOTOV. Balance, alchemy, magic, sorcery. Yeah. Logos on the track. Boy, I'm so gone. Locked inside of myself. It's been too long since I exercised on my wealth. I've been rapping so much, think a nigga backpacking these rap factions like a math fraction. They half-assed and I'm past acting. It's all action, boy. What's up? I be building buildings just to tear them down. They ask me for the reason, but he ain't been found. Cause I kill him every season when I come around. This year gon' be a stick up, and I make a sound. All I want is your hands up. I'm making spirit bombs, and I'ma drop them on these rappers in they synagogue. Since you writing in that worship, I'ma finish y'all. These niggas blacker than that pale horse that I sit upon. This balance. Alchemy, magic, sorcery. 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 This balance. Through the source in me, I make sorcery. That's God DNA. Magic all in my genes. That ain't a wine that I sway. Rich stick a nigga grip. I make him dip like Frito-Lay. Ain't no need to wait, manifest the great. I'ma make a way, show him I don't play. I came for all of your hearts. Pumping that cardio card. You can get with it or not. Either way, I'm still killing these drugs. Front on me if you want. I know you better be know yourself. Looking that smack in the mirror. Trying to figure out why your God came to help. Why you said you failed. Ain't no way to tell how to break the cell. Mind how we fail. God, I mean as well. Casting all the spells. Got me seeing you red. Call me Raphael. Well, to the opposition, they can't defend it. We came to end it, no co-defendant. We getting started, we just beginning. This balance. Alchemy, magic, sorcery. 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 This balance. Yeah. Mindset, mindfulness, Monday, gods and goddesses. We're back. Hey, you know what? This vibe that we've been speaking of today has been a dope one. And I wanted to add to the topic because I feel like we were talking about emotions one week and then we were talking about thoughts and like we were combining all of it into, on Mondays. Remember that, Nove? And then how we even got to those conversations where we met some new people who came to talk to us that day and we had that dope ass conversation that day. And it made me fucking go and look at some shit because I was like, how deep is the story? Like I never if I've always had a problem with this, right? If the history that they told us is true, how does it add up to anybody owing anybody anything?
Right.
When it comes to like
Right.
reparations or getting paid their dues for doing something. Now,
Right.
I see
Well,
there's been a lot of division when it comes to that. There's been a lot of thoughts around that. It had me
right.
diving, just had me diving deep. And like when you dive, you find some shit, right? And I wanted the people to be mindful that there was actually, black people documented that owned African slaves as well. Free black people that owned African slaves. So if there was free black people buying African slaves here in America, where about 500,000 slaves got brought to this country, and they said there was about 3,700 free black people who owned about 12,000 slaves.
There was
Of
also
those five,
multiple towns in the
yeah,
South that white people and black people lived in harmony.
right, facts, Facts.
One of
I don't
those
I don't
was
believe any of the whole narrative of the slavery. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but like if how could I say that it's true, right? If this is true, if everything that they told us is real life, right? And this is exactly what happened according to what the powers that be told me, right? Then wouldn't Nigerians and the wealthy Africans who sold my ancestors, quote unquote, be responsible for paying
right.
me?
They got the first dollar. They
I'm just
got the
saying, but
first money. They got the
but
first
then what
money for the
about the
slave.
and then what about the Zionist owned banks and ship companies that
Right.
provided these kings and queens with the finances and the ships to even go pick these slaves up? What about them? What do they pay?
Right. Or think about this. So I'm not going to say the first slaves, but the first people that we the word slave uh,
Right,
comes from a Slavic.
right,
The reason why Africans were chosen as the slaves for America is because the Slavs were the same color as the people in America and they could have blended in too easy.
yeah,
So, who were the people that decided to go get the
right.
African dark black
Well,
slaves to bring them to the
I think
Americas?
I
That's
think
the
that
people that's
I think
responsible.
that they
The
came
people that
with
went and got them and the people that already owned them are the people that's
I think they
responsible
came with the
for it.
cotton. I think they came with the cotton.
And where's the best cotton come from?
Egypt,
Boom. And where's Egypt at?
Africa.
Oh,
I'm just saying. I think it. I think that
God.
it. I don't think the story was. I think that there was. All right, and I don't think that there was just. Put it like this. I don't think there was just free black people. Like I think that there was other groups and races. You know how many times people have changed the classification of the race? Even the word black is a spell from the English language all the way to legalese. So if we're even going to law
Mm-hmm.
dictionary, black means blank, which means actually white. Anyways, but that's a whole nother topic right there. But I'm saying I can't believe the story knowing how much shit is a lie. You feel what I'm saying? I cannot
Yep.
completely agree that 400 and something, 480,000 African slaves created
Treated horribly with
yeah, treated horribly.
terrible
Life
food,
expectancy of
no
33 to
medicine, no
35.
no doctor, no
Right.
nothing. Just like
Right. Right.
survive, motherfucker, and work all
Right.
day long and don't
I
get no
can't
good
believe
food to eat.
that we get that many brown people. You know, I honestly the more logical thing is that there was brown people already here, and there's been evidence of that as well. Whether you want to call them Africans or whatever you want to say. Some people say Moors, but I think there was other brown people here even before the Moors because the way the story works is that everybody's trying to claim all right, the war in America is kind of civil, but like it's like this. Everyone's trying to claim this land for their own. Put it like that. There's multitudes of races and groups of individuals from the many religions, from Jewish to all these other people, even Chinese and everybody is trying to lay claim on the Americas, Northern America, Southern America, Central Americas. Like, and that's just to me, that's just the war that I've always seen. So like the history changes depending on where you are in America and who has had control over that. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that there was 400,000 slaves here and only white people owned all of these slaves. I didn't believe it, and then when I
Well,
found the
and
evidence
then
that
you got to ask the question too. Like, okay, so when you say white people, it's just like when you say black people. Well, what does that mean?
yeah, well, I
What
mean, I
what
guess you
type of
could.
white
You're
person?
right,
You mean a
but I think it was
German?
all
You mean an
types of, like you
Irish?
said,
You,
right?
you're
Spanish, right?
Russian?
English, right?
Slav? You know what I'm
Slavic,
saying? Like,
right? Yeah, and I think that there was like I think there was many groups of people. So like the Moors never classified themselves as black or African
nope.
Americans or Negroes. So how do we know that they didn't own slaves? You see them in the boat with George Washington crossing the Ohio River.
Right.
Like that they're in paintings. The Moors are. They're in paintings with these people. You know what I mean? With these founding fathers of America, they're in paintings. They were technically. Some people say that there's a conspiracy theorist that the first president was a black dude and he was a Moor, not George Washington.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And there's
Well,
all types of information that you can gather that
we
says
also
that.
know that there's always something before the actual beginning that's
Right. But it
recorded.
was, I think
So
that
America might have been already a booming situation
facts, bro.
before it
Facts.
became America.
Facts, bro. Speak it.
So
That's
who
all I'm saying.
so okay, so who was if white people
Right.
started, quote unquote, white people started running this motherfucker at 1776,
Right,
right?
right.
Who was running this motherfucker? Because we don't know about them 1700s.
Exactly,
So
bro.
who was
Right.
running it before then?
And I can't say that if white people went to Africa and bought slaves from Africans, like how do I say that, oh, you wrong for that. You wrong for going to buy some slaves.
Right.
Right?
Or
You
right.
wrong. I should. Who I'm supposed to be telling is wrong. It's like, yo, you wrong for selling your own people as slaves. Why don't you sell some prisoners or something?
Right. And
You know what I'm
then
saying?
and
Like,
then you got to think about this, like you got to think about some people getting on a ship and going somewhere that they've never been before and finding these people that look completely fucking different than them. And
mm-hmm.
they're brave enough to get off that motherfucking ship and go capture these people. Man, come
Right,
on, man. Come
right.
on now.
I mean, we know that
That
when
shit don't
people
even make
used
no
to
sense.
do that, there was a conquering age. You know what I mean? Where people went and conquered shit. Like that's what that was thing
Right.
was to
So
do.
if
You know what I mean?
that's different though than
It
just
is. You're right. I
jumping in a
know.
boat and going over here to buy some people.
You're right.
You
You're
ain't
right.
because you got to conquer them first, I think, right?
and
Like
and
you ain't
that's
gonna get like think about it, bro. You ain't gonna go like to the south side of Chicago and just start doing what the fuck you want to unless
people
you
think I'm
conquer that
crazy
bitch
for that
first.
though. As a black dude, people think I'm crazy because I don't believe that there weren't other groups of brown people who also had slaves, no matter what color you want to say they were. You know what I mean? Like I think that the slavery was just money, a way to make money, and anybody with money, just like right now, right? In this world right now, when how slavery still exists, where there's a corporation and then you're a slave for the corporation, you got to work, you give them all their time. I think it was just the same way. And corporations are owned by black people, white people, green people. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was just a way to make some fucking money. And if you were a black person with some fucking money, you were able to make some fucking money. Like,
You know,
and
you were
you might
still
have
able
you
to
might have had
buy
some slaves.
you were still able to buy bonds and shit like that. That was actually what controlled the country.
And I can't completely be like, oh yeah, all white people in the South hated black people. You know what I mean? I can't say that. Like, I can't say none of that shit that the narrative is. You know what I mean? I cannot.
Right. Well, that's just like this, bro. That's just like saying all Germans, not German Jews, but all Germans
Are
hated Jews
Nazis, right?
because who the
Right.
fuck was hiding them under the cellar?
Right.
Who was hiding? You know
Who's
what I mean?
hiding in the
Like,
freight?
ah, damn, bro. It's just like
Yeah, I
it's
see.
not.
Tick says
Nothing
Latin,
ever
and
is one sided like history wants you to think.
she says, Tick says Latin America and the Caribbeans, they were there because of the black individuals owning slaves. Yeah, exactly. Like, and
Yeah.
that's another thing, like that, because that was like a big part of it. Like, there was more African slaves that went to England and the Caribbean islands and Spain than it was to America. America literally got a little under 500,000, according to the transatlantic slave trade, what are they called? The manifestos from the ships. Go look them up, man.
Mhm.
They got them
Oh,
documented.
bro, I've
Y'all can
looked at
look this
them
shit up.
bitches fucking in person in some of these
Oh yeah, yeah.
museums and
You
shit
live
down
on
in this
fucking
area.
Jekyll Island, right? This dude
Yep.
has seen them in fucking person. So it's like, yeah, these manifestos will tell you only about 480,000
And
slaves
I've
made it.
also literally got in. I know this might sound weird, right? But I've got inside of a little cage that was supposed to be the size of the cage of the ship. People were in the handcuffs and all that shit. I've sat there and like really experienced it. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, man, you put somebody in this shit and take them
Right.
across the Atlantic Ocean. They're dead by
Right. See,
the
but like, what does that do? So now I ask people this. So what does that do? What is the complex of making all black people believe that they're from Africa, right? And then on top of making them believe that they're from Africa, make them believe all of them, make all of them believe that they were descendants of slaves.
right.
Like, what does that do? You see
So
what
it's
I'm
like,
saying? Like,
well,
y'all,
who am I? Where's my identity? Same way with white people, bro. To be honest with you, like you ask a
yeah,
white person, "What's your, heritage, your lineage?" Motherfuckers be like, I don't know, shit.
yeah, transatlantic slave trade. Yeah, so I'm talking about. Tick. Yeah, you're right. And I don't, and that's what people be like. I've had people because I'm married to a white woman, quote unquote. You know what I mean? She's Italian, an Italian German woman to me. You know what I mean? She's not really a white woman if you ask me, but I'm married to a quote unquote white woman, and motherfuckers be like, oh, you, you was sleeping with the oppressor. I'm like, her people came over on a boat hundreds of years later, nigga, like or way later, nigga. Like,
Right.
what is you
Bruce Wayne
talking
just
about?
said, "I'm going to the motherland." He said, "Bro, you're from Albany."
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? Like my wife's people, because a lot of Europeans they keep track of that shit. Like my wife's people came off the boat when the gang members was with the Italian mafia and shit was getting off the boat. That's when they came over. You know what I mean? They ain't have nothing to do with no slavery. They was put in the ghettos with the niggas, with the black people
Right. And
when
then,
they first got
okay. And
here.
so then let's think about this.
They
Any
didn't even
movie
teach.
that you
Hold on, I'm sorry,
watch,
no. Just to even tell you on that, you can. I don't mean to interrupt you, but just to conclude on that, they like her grandparents and them didn't even teach their children the native tongue because they were harassed so much by Americans.
right.
That's just what I
Well,
wanted to say on that.
and you think about every movie that we've watched or they've made that is around that time period, they always show the Italians and black folks living about 2 blocks from each other and fucking hating each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what was that one movie? Where the Italian boy fell in love with the black
Yeah,
girl.
that's what motherfucking Robert De Niro was in that bitch.
Oh my gosh,
That's
what
what
was
I'm
the
sitting
name
there
of that
trying to think
fucking
of right
movie?
now.
God
Um,
damn, that was a good movie, yo.
Bronx Tale.
Bronx Tale,
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal
So you
film.
see in that, like,
Yeah,
you had the mob, the mob's Italian mob on one
right.
side of the city or whatever, and the little black boys was running over there riding their bikes and shit. And the Italian boys was pissed the fuck off about it. And
Mm-hmm.
the Italian boy liked the little black girl, but
Mm-hmm.
nah, there wasn't nobody having that shit. And but in all reality, was it really fucking like that though? Like I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, you know what I mean?
I don't believe that it was completely like that. I believe that there come on, man. It's the duality. I think that there was some Italians who was
Because
like,
think
don't mess
about it
with those
right now.
moolies.
Think
You
about
know
it
what I
right
mean? Like
now. Right
I've
now,
I've
in that
even met it. Put it like that. No, if I've met Italians who was like, nah, we don't mess with moolies, type shit. And I literally wouldn't even shake my hand. And I've met Italians who was like, oh nah, we're from Sicily.
I think
If
every
it
race,
wasn't for
I'm just going
Africans
to jump
invading,
in
we wouldn't
here.
even
I'm
exist.
jumping in. I'm totally interrupting.
Go
I'm
ahead, T.
jumping in. And I think every race, there's some people from, doesn't matter, that doesn't want you to marry or be with someone outside of their own race.
Right.
right. And you know
Whether,
what?
whether it's traditional white people from the South that
You're
want
right.
you to,
Or black people.
And you
stay,
know what?
you know,
I don't
prestigious with
necessarily
the
think
prestigious
there's
families, that
Yeah.
come together, even last names, even between white
and
Yeah.
I don't
people.
think there's
You
anything
know,
wrong with that.
Nope.
that's just their preference. That's what they
Right.
want. That's their
Right.
I don't think
children's.
that's racist.
No, I don't
I
either.
don't think there's anything wrong with it. If that's what you want to
No.
do, that's not
Right.
racist.
Not at
If
all. Do
that's
what
what,
the
It's
fuck
not
you want to
hate.
do.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
but at the same time, the fact that there wasn't generational curses broken, like, okay, so your parents are going to be the ones that are going to tell you this, right? We don't want you to date outside of the race, no matter what
Right.
race it is. Well, then
Right.
it's your decision to be like,
No
I'm
or
going to do what
yes.
my parents say, or I'm going to
Right.
just be with whoever I want. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
it's on a lot of people's
and
heads.
and his dad he learned in that movie, that little Italian boy, he learned a lot from the mobsters, and he learned a lot from his dad. You know what I mean? His dad was like, oh, you like the little black girl, then do take her on a date. But the dad was broke and poor, and he couldn't even help him take her on a date. And the mafia dude, even the mafia dude, he was like, man, he's like, who cares? He's like, do whatever you want to do. He's like, who cares if the Italians don't like the blacks or the blacks don't like Italians? Who cares? Even the mafia dude, like he was breaking him down. Like, bro, here, he gave him the keys to the car so he can go pick up the girl and go on a date and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was pretty dope. It was a pretty dope film. You got to watch it, but it definitely explains a lot when it comes to that, because like I've heard my aunts tell my cousins, if she can't use my comb, don't bring her ass home. Like, this shit ain't just white people being like, oh, don't you date a Negro. You know what I mean? Like, it's never been just that. Like, I've seen it on both fucking sides of the fucking ball game. My mom, they used to try to tease, oh, you got jungle fever. It's like, no, I just like women, bro. I don't care what color she is. Like, if she was green and Martian looking, I'd date an alien. If she was, my type, like, shit, the fuck.
Date one of them aliens where you kiss them and you die. That's the only time. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
What
so
up, J63? Yeah.
if somebody physically can't be around each other or touch, I understand that. But
Right.
shit, like, think about this, okay?
But hey, though, wait, though. Think about that question though that I wanted to ask people. So that slavery shit happened 400 years. And not saying we should forget about it. It's nothing like that. I just think we should analyze the facts more and do a deep dive. And that's just for everybody. But maybe that's just the vibe of today because Sybil was talking about that shit too. But
And we should
anyways,
also go into every
yes,
history of every slavery.
yes, and I think we should take the time to really realize, like, what the fuck does it really, you know what I mean? Like, it's if you and most people are spiritual too at that. So what's crazy is, like, what would it even matter? You know what I mean? And like I'm saying, it was that slavery shit was 400 years ago. So what about the black people then who are white people now? Do you know that your shit? All right, my kids are mixed, right? If my middle daughter say, if my middle daughter doesn't date a black person, it's going to be even more white. And then if their kids don't date a black person, they'll be even more quote unquote white. I'm going to just say quote unquote white. So in 2 generations, my kids could be completely white. So you're
Right.
talking about, that's not 400 years. That's less than 400 years.
And
Okay.
then think about what you just said. Like, does that support the theory of and the belief of and possibly just the flat out bullshit story that the black is stronger than the white when it comes
Bro,
to
like, it's just it's
when
just
you
a
mate?
matter
That's
of the
how people say
male
it.
gene. The male gene is stronger than the female gene when it comes to male is what determines all of that when it comes to race and sex and shit. Like that's why we can break it down another topic. But you know what I'm saying? The male gene is what holds all of that information. And so yeah, I mean that you're right. I mean, and you're right. You're right and you're wrong at the same time because my kid's mixed. So if my youngest son Cal, if he dates a white girl, and or quote unquote white girl, let me put the quotes there, then that's obviously gonna make the quote unquote race less pure, right? You know what I'm saying? But then if they
Mm,
all date black people, then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
right.
just, if people are just like really weird about it, and to me it's like 2 generations ago, you could have been a fucking white person, bro. that's that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's like 2 generations ago could have been a white dude. You know what I
Well,
mean? Who
look
had
at
sex with a
this.
black
Look at
woman?
Damian Marley.
Yeah,
Okay, take away the dreads. What's he look like?
yeah, bro. There's so many people out there, bro. I, think about, like,
Oh,
that
hold on,
shit is
hold on.
so
Let's do
wild.
this. What's her name? Uh, man, the woman that damn
I'm,
so popular for moving on the bus.
Rosa Parks. Yeah,
Rosa Parks. Her husband, Rosa Parks, and her husband were quote unquote black, but they were fucking lighter skinned than most fucking tan white
yeah.
people I know.
I
That
agree, and
shit
you're
is
right,
just
Tick.
ridiculous, bro.
Tick says, yeah,
And
but we
these are
can't
the
deny
people
the.
that are chosen as these are the people that a quote unquote black person is supposed to look at and say, oh,
Right,
that's who I am. Like, man,
right.
that don't even make no man, that don't even
I
make sense,
understand, bro.
man.
I get you. And I think that it's weird because the black community feels like they've been forced by, for some reason, there's a narrative that unless white people lose or do something first, then black people can't do anything at all. And like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, and that doesn't even
You
make
know what I
any
mean? Like people like me, you know what I mean? Like and you, like we've not, like, and I'm just saying, just as a black, you don't understand it being who you are, and I don't understand it even being quote unquote supposedly a part of this black community, and it's it's weird. You know what I mean? It's like a weird dynamic that
all right,
we can't
perfect
move
example.
unless
I
the
got a
white folk
great
move.
example. Beyonce.
Oh my gosh.
Blonde hair, light skin, singing country music. Now, all of a sudden, country music was created by black people that wasn't allowed to do it. But me and you and the rest of us dug into that bullshit and found out that hip hop originated in fucking the South, where a motherfucking black person wasn't even supposed to be allowed to even do anything free,
Well,
but he was in the goddamn studio record.
let us understand that,
You know
right?
what I
Let us
mean? Like,
understand that the whole hip hop and the whole entertainment industry was definitely government induced. The government has been involved in thousands of movies, in videos and songs and record labels and everything like that. So, and that's just proof. The Secretary of Defense has a department for films. You can look that up, Google it. I'm not telling you a fucking lie. So, um, we know that entertainment. So yeah, you're right. With that being known, how do we fucking believe the narrative? You know, like
yeah.
I, I, I man, to say that we're dumber, I could see that now, bro. Like, and I'm not even trying to be rude to everybody out here. As us as a populace together, like we gotta wake up to the fact that we don't have to do.
Dumber or gullible?
Yeah.
Gullible in the fact to believe that somebody actually gives a fuck about you to tell you the truth. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. But to me, it's like this though, bro. Like the first thing that
What
I was
color was
mad about,
William Shakespeare? Do we know?
bro. If somebody sold my kid drugs, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna punish my kid. I mean, I probably will, but I'm gonna punish the drug dealer too. See what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense for black people or any people, to ask for reparations from somebody who was just buying some drugs. The drug dealer is over here, and nobody, even though we know the truth now, nobody has been like, well, yeah, well, can we get some land, Africa?
And
Like,
then
nobody
you got
said
to go
none of that.
back to the drug dealer didn't make the shit.
Right, right. The drug dealer got a loan from
Or
this
the
dude.
drug dealer didn't even, the drug dealer's just sitting there posted up, popular in the
Right.
neighborhood,
His
and somebody from
plug.
a different motherfucking country brings the shit to
Right.
him.
Right. So then you ask yourself, okay, well, who gave the Spanish government, the Spanish king at the time, or the English king at the time, or the Portuguese king at the time, or the French king at the time, who gave them the money and the ships to go and do it? And then
Mm-hmm.
you like, damn. See, and that's why it's like, bro, what the fuck? Who
And
do
then
we
you think,
even
and you're like,
owe?
well, it definitely
Like,
wasn't
hey,
like
would you say
some
that last show? You said, who do we even know? Who do we even owe? Who are we in debt to? We're on a floating fucking rock.
right.
We're on a floating rock, guys. Like, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, niggas shouldn't get no reparations. I think that if we're going to do some shit like that, it's not as black and white as white people were the oppressors and black people were the slaves. It's not that simple. I think it's much more complicated, and there's a lot of facts and information that we're completely ignoring based on the victim mentality that we've been programmed with.
Right. And you
So,
know what? I've got another whoop-de-woo to throw in there. Okay, so if Europeans came to the Americas, North America, which we call it now,
butterfly effect. Yeah.
and their diseases almost killed off a big, or not almost, but did kill off a huge population of indigenous Native Americans, right?
Uh-huh.
Then what did those Europeans and or what did those Africans do to each other when they encountered each other? They didn't
Right.
just. I mean, come on, man. It's way deeper than
Well,
what these
I'll
little
tell you
fucking.
like this, man. Back then, if there was a tribe, if you're in Nigeria, put it like this, a lot of the coastal African countries were more wealthier because they can do trade, right?
Exactly.
So they had a lot more money, and so they had so they had slaves, and people were like, oh, it wasn't the same kind of slavery. Like, I mean, if just like Chinese people and everybody else around the world, if your family owed another family some money, then you were indebted to them, and sometimes even you and your children would have to work for that family for the rest of your life. So even if they
Mhm.
wanted to sell you to another motherfucker, they could do that shit, and they would do that shit to people. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. You know what I mean? These are your own people, your own countrymen. These are your own people, but it didn't matter. It was about money. It's always about the dollar. So
Right,
that's
and it
how
was
you get them
also
type of situations.
different tribes believed completely different things. Just because
On
everybody
purpose.
Africa wasn't even named Africa by Africans, it was named by some other shit. But so even though people lived in Africa, it wasn't like they were as one.
Right. They would capture, if you watch that Woman King movie, y'all watch that? You gotta watch
Yeah,
it.
I've seen
Good
it.
movie.
Yeah,
The Woman King. Yeah, it's about
Mhm.
some shit like that, bro.
Yeah, they go
Where
get the slave. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
bro. She wasn't fighting white people. They were
hell no.
fighting other Africans who were trying to take them niggas to the white people.
Yep. And they were fighting,
Well, not even
and
white
them
people,
other
excuse me.
people,
Spaniards. They were
were the.
Spaniards. I take that
Yeah,
back.
and the other people were the other people that the woman king, like the women that were
Yeah.
the warriors. They were fighting the fucking savages, bro.
Yeah.
They were fighting the
They,
ones that come and enslave you.
yes. Yes. They weren't fighting. That's what I'm saying. They weren't fighting white people. That's what I'm just saying. They weren't fighting white people or European people. They weren't fighting Spanish people. They were fighting the people the Spanish people hired.
Yeah, and then think about
Hey,
this too: just the terrain of Africa and the climate of Africa
yeah,
completely different than Europe.
absolutely.
So
But they
how the
weren't.
fuck
That's
does
what,
a
like you said, it
European
was a plug,
go
bro. Like,
there and just start taking over? It don't make no fucking
what up,
sense.
poetic? Like, if you need something, bro, if you need something, you go to whoever's the quote unquote plug for it, right? Like,
Yeah.
Amazon's the plug for everything. Like, hey, well, shit, if I need anything, you know what I mean? Like, Amazon got me. It's the plug, bro. It's just like that. Oh, I needed some slaves. Oh, well, the trans. I was trying to explain to somebody the transatlantic slave trade was like a block
They
party for the
didn't want to
country.
use the same slaves it was already using, which was the Slavic slaves. Because they
Yeah,
said the
but it was
Slavic
it was a
slaves are the
block. It
same
was a block
goddamn
party,
color.
bro.
They're
If I
the
put up a
Slavic
flyer,
slaves are the same color as these other people that's going to be ruling. So we got to get
right,
some other people that's a different color and
right. But if I
demoralize
put up a
them.
flyer and say, "Hey, we selling slaves over here.
Yep.
Everybody come get some slaves."
Or
Like,
or or
what do you
this.
think's
How
gonna
about this?
happen? People just gonna
Are
come
you
and
going to
get some slaves,
feel?
bro.
Ask yourself this question: Someone is someone going to feel more comfortable enslaving someone that looks like them, or that
Right.
someone that looks completely different than them and they're told that those people are
Well,
less than?
yep. And then you complete that. That completes the narrative. So then
Yeah,
now
because then
you have
morally
a
you're like,
whole
well,
group of
morally
people.
I'm not really morally, I bought this person and I was
Right.
told that this is how it goes over there,
Right.
so
Right.
morally I feel a little bit better than
Yes.
what I
This
should.
well, just like morally, they was people was getting married as soon as the little girls had their periods. Like
Right,
what?
right.
Morally, that's how they did shit. Like there wasn't. That's what I was like. Man, there was so many rich brown people, no matter where you are in, from America to damn Australia, who probably owned some other black person or slave.
Yeah.
It was like people. You know what I mean? People are I don't know,
And you
man.
know
They
what's funny too
huh?
is is this day and age, it's really hard to convince somebody that Europeans were enslaved by Africans at one time.
Bro,
People
bro,
don't
but
even
no,
know that. They
wait
don't
though. The
even know
super
that
black
white
people do
people,
know though. No,
European people, the reason why they're
bro,
called Caucasians because they fucking hauled ass to the goddamn Caucasus Mountains and areas because they was fucking scared as a motherfucker.
bro. They talk about this. See, the super black cats, the cats who be pushing that super black narrative, bro. They be like, yeah, man, that's why Europe was colonized twice by the Africans. They even know the name. King Hannibal was one of them. I mean, like I said, that's how you even get Sicilians. That's how Sicilians
Mm-hmm.
exist because the Moors invaded Italy, and after the Italians pushed them out, you know what I mean? They took all of the mixed babies because the way that they did war, the way that the Moors and Africans did war, is that they killed the soldiers and
Kill the
raped the
men, go
women
rape the women.
and raped the women. So like that's how things were fucking done. That's what conquerors fucking did. That was the age of conquering shit. And
Yep.
it's true though, because they tell you about it and they tell you about these stories of how a lot of Europeans were still sleeping in the sheds with the goats and the horses. And then they tell you, oh, we this is what the black people says. Oh yeah, we taught them how to clean themselves. We helped them get out of the dark age. They was in the black plague because nobody was bathing correctly. We taught them we taught them how to do plumbing systems. We taught them and then you had the Great Renaissance, and you got Leonardo da Vinci coming out of nowhere who supposedly studied for 20 something years in ancient Kemet Africa. And then you have, you know what I'm saying? Like you have all of this shit happening, and black people want to take credit for it all, but they don't want to take none of the fucking blame, and they don't have
Right.
no
But then
accountability
also you've got to
for
think
for
about
for where we are
there
now.
was a whole nother
What up, Mutt?
aspect added into that African, which was the Persian,
Yeah.
what we call Arab today or whatever, you know what I mean? And so the
Yeah.
Persians were so advanced also.
But I'm saying, like,
It's just
if
it's crazy that that there's a region of Africa that isn't necessarily
well,
black
what's
skin
right. What's
that totally
crazy,
gets overlooked throughout that part of history too.
right? It was crazy is you got a group of people who feel that they were responsible. So, all right. So if okay, let me break this down for y'all. If the European culture has never created anything of their own, and all they've ever done is steal from all the other cultures around the world, right? Then who did they get colonization from? So if the Europeans got taught how to colonize by the Africans and then use that information to colonize other people, how do we not have any accountability if the history books are right and we are quote unquote Africans? See, it doesn't make any, just the logic of it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And I think we just have to be mindful and meaningful about it, because it's all a narrative to get one group of people hating another group of people based on the color of a skin, even though both groups of people believe that they have a soul. Like now you're fucking talking crazy.
Yep.
So
And
now you're
then
talking
and
about
then there's a population of those people that believe that they're better than the other
right,
because of what history tells them. You know,
right,
history would tell one set of person, "Oh, you're this and you are supposed to act this way." And this person was basically a wild animal. Okay, so look,
right,
just like you were talking about, at one time, Europeans were known as the dirty wild animal types.
right.
Then all of a
Absolutely.
sudden, a couple hundred years later, it was the black person that was the dumb, uh, nasty person that could only do physical labor for you.
Right. Yeah, bro. It's that's what I mean. Like it's always been like if if the history is true, you know what I mean. If the history is true, Africans colonized Europe twice. If the history is true, okay, we have evidence of this. Okay, so now we know that, and we also know that Africans were the ones with the Navy first. So if they were first with the Navy, then what would make us think that only Europeans were the first ones to come over here to the Americas? And then if that's
Right.
the fucking case, what makes us think that even the indigenous Indians of America were indigenous to America? Because they look Asian, and there's evidence that shows that they came across the Bering Strait
Right.
following the buffalo. So if they were,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like And so who is at? That's why I said it's this one big free for all for who to prove who was the original human of this particular continent for some reason. And they have done everything to make everybody's to discombobulate everybody's identity. If you Everybody is having an identity crisis, nobody has the strength to be themselves anymore. And so they cling on to these bullshit narratives that you can easily debunk by just going to read some shit that you've never fucking read before. I mean, I know we might not have time to do that. So that's why this fucking show is here. So you could throw it on and just listen to this motherfucker and be like, well, I'll be damned. I never thought about it like that.
You know,
Because y'all motherfuckers got me thinking on through this whole fucking show. I just don't, I just can't bring myself to believe that we're so divided when if we all believe
I
that.
got one for you.
What's
Think
up?
about this, okay? So if you go to Italy, you're gonna ride around in one of them little boats, and there's gonna be a dude standing with a long ass stick pushing it around. Now ask yourself, what does that canoe look like to you? Does it look like something from Egypt? Yes. Look at the shape of it.
Yeah.
Go Google it. Look at the shape of them motherfuckers, bro. It looks just like
I
that.
know, bro.
It looks just like the fucking design of the old school Egyptian Navy.
Yep.
Two different parts of the world.
I agree. I mean, what those
So
also
if the
even in Mexico, right?
if Egypt's Navy didn't get over to Italy, then how the fuck did they design the same goddamn boat? I don't understand that one.
And then I'll ask you this. I'll double up on that question. I'll ask. Well, then, if that's the case, how the fuck did those pyramids get over there in Mexico older than the motherfucking pyramids over there in Africa?
Ding dong, the witch is now dead. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, bro.
And they're always finding new shit.
And they finding new
but
ones.
they
like
only
that one
talk
in the Grand
about the
Canyon.
pyramids of Giza. The pyramids of Giza.
Or that one that was under Louisiana.
Yeah.
The most recent one that's under Louisiana that's older than them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking wild, bro. Like, and that's why I was like, you can't.
And then
I
saw an interview of some local news station in Louisiana. I think it was like New Orleans or some shit, right? And they were asking this black guy. They were like, they said, "How do you feel about these new pyramids being found?" And he goes, "Well, I mean, there's pyramids found all the time." And they were like, "Yeah, but I mean, like, how do you feel about it was like Native Americans, like, Indians that, Native American Indians per se that built that?" That's what the person said, asking the question. And he was like, they ain't no damn, they ain't no Native Americans, no Indians been around here. He's like, go look back in the history of it. And it's like, holy shit, man. Like, goddamn, like, so this person is brainwashed to think that only black people in Egypt could build a goddamn pyramid.
Right.
Were the people that built the pyramid even black?
Hey, bro.
Or was the Persians that enslaved those people to build it?
Bro, but then you got a group of people who say that ain't no way that they say ain't no way niggas could have built no sophisticated shit like that. It had to have been aliens.
Exactly.
I'm like, damn. So people ain't smart.
It's like, damn, bro. So
some shit like
you would, instead of saying this person could build this and design it, oh fuck no, that's totally out of the range of that person.
That's because the motherfuckers was. That's because that was that whitewashing. But that's what happens when you conquer shit, right? When Alexander the Great conquered shit, what did he do? He went into Africa and Kemet. He burned the fucking biggest library known to fucking man.
Yeah.
And took all the shit he wanted and burnt the fucking rest. Like, that's what you do. And I think that's what has always been done all the time. Like, it hasn't stopped just because we got phones and cars and shit. Like, it hasn't stopped just because we can't see the fucking chains now. They just put them on your emotions. They put them on your mental. They put them on anything that they can put them on just to keep you divided and making you think you're different than another motherfucker.
Think about all the stone tablets that were carved into
Yeah, the Sumerians and the like. Think about so much shit goes so
And
further
those
back,
things are
y'all.
made to sound like some make believe thing. You know what I mean?
Nah, them shits exist.
Yeah.
Nobody has properly translated them. You know what I mean? Because every time we try to, there's new information that comes about. So, like, if you discover another pyramid and it has the same hieroglyphs that's on these shits, and you thought this shit meant one thing because of this hieroglyph, but now you know what I mean? Like, the new information is always
Yeah.
coming with this shit.
And then
So it's
also
like,
too, the like the hieroglyphics, those were actually used because people were so fucking advanced. They didn't
yeah,
need to write a sentence down.
that's why they say
It's
that
almost like
language,
our
the
emojis.
Chinese language, yeah,
Right. And
that one symbol can tell you a whole fucking story.
oh yeah, bro. I mean, when I lived in
Yeah,
Japan, bro, like I learned how to write that shit. I don't know how to do it now, but it was you I mean, dead ass. Like one symbol is like a fucking paragraph.
one symbol is a paragraph, right?
A
One symbol will tell
line
you
is
every
a
fucking thing.
whole sentence.
They say that is a more intelligent way of communication. They say one
Right.
we'll reach that. That's why we have they say
Well,
emojis is on that
that's
level.
what I was just getting at. It's like how many of us kind of communicate with emojis now?
Yeah, uh, that's what they say. They
And
say
you
emojis
think that's
are.
really and so who came up with the emojis?
Just want to let you know
Asian.
we're on a 5 minute countdown, y'all.
The
Five,
first
2 hours.
emoji was created with Asians. That's why they were fucking yellow. Oh, oh yeah. Goddamn. So oh man.
I almost fell off my seat. I almost broke my chair, nigga. Oh
But
man.
shit, man, it was a good one today. I'm glad I was able to get on and get home in time. I don't know if anybody can hear
Absolutely.
me or not.
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Oh yeah, Tick just threw up all the emojis, so it seems like she's
You
advanced.
got my message or no?
She said, "I'm more advanced than all of y'all." Watch this.
Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it, man. Well, I mean, I just wanted to be mindful because the divide. I guess the power of the divide has been real strong, and I didn't have nothing I wanted to talk about today besides how I felt so discombobulated about it. You know what I mean? And how I wanted to express everybody like we don't know the history because that's one thing we can all agree on is that the winners of the wars write the history. So if this history is what we're
Yeah,
going on based off of, then it doesn't make sense for us to be as divided as we are because
exactly. And
when you add it up, it don't make it's not
it also
mathing.
kind
That's
of
what they say.
proves that we don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it also
Right.
throws a monkey wrench in the whole. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying it
Right.
throws a monkey wrench in some of these psychics
Yeah.
operation, don't
A
it?
lot of things.
Because
It does.
if
It
you're a
throws
psychic that can tap into all this shit, why
it
can't you
does,
tell me
bro.
what the fuck's really going on then?
The timelines of how shit is happening and how it's going, bro. I think it's I think there's so many that it's almost unpredictable. And that's what I feel about the possibilities of what could be the truth. I I just know that war has been since forever, since my existence, even since before that. Like,
Yeah,
there's hasn't been one place in the world that hasn't been almost like a perpetual state of war, except for some places that medias can't even coverage because they might get killed trying to go to the village. They might have complete
exactly.
peace there, and they might see how the world is, and they might be like, "Hell no, we ain't letting no outsiders in this bitch at all because look how these motherfuckers acting out here."
Yep,
You know what I mean? And that could be it, but I say it's a beautiful mistake, the most perfect mistake I've ever seen. I'm kind of in awe at the beauty of how everything works. You know what I mean? It sucks. Even the rainy days, even the murder and the mayhem. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. Call me weird, but I've kind of come to a place of growth where I see it all as one big beautiful mistake.
yeah.
What can you fucking do? You know?
I'm just gonna stick with my guns and say this shit's a movie, bro.
It is.
Everybody is the
Same
main
thing.
character in their
Shit.
own movie.
Yep.
We're writing this bitch as we go.
Hey, but there has to be a bad guy, right? You can't
Yep,
have a good movie without a good bad guy.
yep.
You know what I mean? And hey, what if you play both parts? You're the bad guy and the good guy. Ain't
Well,
that
you
fucking
can't
wild,
have a
bro?
savior to run to if there's nobody to run from.
Hey, and then you find out it's you. But wouldn't that be fucked up if you was fucking in a movie, you the main character in the movie, and you find out that the evil villain was actually yourself?
Right.
God damn, y'all.
You
Be
know,
better
and
humans.
then you got to ask, well, where did I learn to be the evil villain from?
Because I was so good. And how did I learn to be good? Because I was so evil. And I didn't have any of it without the other one. Like,
You know, and it's like, wait a minute, it's like, fuck, 1,000 years ago, this person that looked completely different than me was the evil one. Holy shit, how did I become the evil one? You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I tell people this, like, in the infinite possibilities, it's a possibility that we could have been every single character in this game that we're playing. Like you could have
Yep.
once been the little homeless guy in Gaza getting bombed. You could have been Hitler. You could have been so and so. You could have been past life. You could have been this. Past life. You could have been that. I mean, if according to how this shit's lined up, like it's a possibility that none of this shit will end when we think it's gonna end, or has ever end or begun, or it's
Or
just
will
could be some
end.
infinite fucking loop, right?
Yeah,
So it's like you could
exactly.
have already played every actor and character there is on this earth. And they're telling me right now the live will end in about 2 minutes, actually. So we got about 2 more minutes. So I was 2 minutes late. But I'd like to thank y'all for joining us today. We got new music coming out very, very, very soon. Maybe not this week, but next week. And also, a guest on one of these Music Fridays will be our second guest will be One Way. And I'm trying to set one up with Nakaso as well. But tomorrow we'll definitely be back at 12:30 for Fuck Around, Find Out Tuesday. And we can dive more deeper into this type of shit because I think our moralities is definitely what's at stake here. I think there's some morals that you're gonna have to give up to survive this what's happening right now in the world. So I guess I can't judge anybody for their decisions that they make. I just want to tell y'all motherfuckers to stay up, stay true to yourself, and I'll catch y'all motherfuckers tomorrow. You want tell them anything though besides www.thinkhaiku.com?
No, I was gonna say thinkhackcrew.com, and I was gonna say just have a good day, and I was gonna say don't be scared of these robots because this robot was bringing me bottles of water and shit this
Use
weekend.
AI, don't let it use you. All right, y'all. Well, we gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna play some music. I'm gonna try to at least. Well, oh no, it says I gotta exit the live now because
Right.
I got about 30 seconds,
Well, you know
guys.
what? I'm gonna say peace, but really, what I
Thank
should say
you.
is division.
No, thank you, Tick. You're the shit. Appreciate everybody, and we'll catch y'all tomorrow at the same time.